Welcome to the Lionbridge Learn from the Leaders series. Most of us have heard the saying that unless you keep score, you're only practicing. Changing measures and metrics is one of the most powerful ways of changing behaviour. But if you want to be truly customer-centric, what are the right measures you should be using? Who should be held accountable for those measures? To help us answer that question, in this edition we have Jeanne Bills with us. Jeanne, for the last 25 years, has been in the role of Chief Customer Officer in organisations such as Land's End, Microsoft, Allstate Insurance and Mazda Motors. Jeanne, what do you see as the main measures that organisations should be using if they really want to become more customer-centric?
You know, metrics is the elusive thing around trying to drive a customer culture. It's the squeaky wheel. It's the thing that gets in the way because every silo inside of the organization has their own metrics. Sales has metrics where they define score. Operations has metrics where they define success. Service has different metrics, and there are no unified metrics in most corporations at the highest level connecting profitability and managing customers as the true asset of the business. Now think about it. That is so simple. Yet in each of the silos doing their own thing, the customer gets lost in the shuffle in the execution of the tactics. So when I was writing my book, what I wanted to do was redefine for businesses 5 simple things, 5 simple questions that the CEO and his or her lieutenants could ask about to make customers the platform of the business. Now, the other thing I wanted to do was keep this simple because this is where, for example, the sales guys have us over a barrel. They know what success is. On an everyday basis, the sales force gets emails, they're BlackBerry, they get urgent phone calls about what their requirements are and what the goals are, and people want to know why they're achieving them. So here's the 5 metrics that I call guerrilla metrics. And if a company can just start tracking and trending these, they will get to a place where customer and the asset of customer as the profitability driver in their organization starts to create a new conversation for the company. The other thing that needs to happen is that these need to be kicked up to the board level. There's a Harvard Business Review study that's been done that says less than 10% of companies talk about customers in anything more than anecdotal fashion in their board meetings. So that means it's about top-line results, sales, and cost containment, not about the customer, which is really the outcome of the business. So I'm being a little elusive and even giving you these guerrilla metrics, right? Because I want you to want them. And here's what they are. The first is incoming customers. Now, what companies need to do is track the quality and the quantity of their incoming customer. For example, there was a company that I worked with where the VP of sales was an ex-fighter pilot. And he set his salespeople out, to do what he actually called speed kills. Now, what this meant was that he had turned customers into widgets. And getting one customer who was a small company in Paducah, Kentucky, a very small part of the country, had just as much impact to him as bringing in a very large customer. But in terms of cost to serve and profitability to the organization, they were very different. That's why you also need to look at the second guerrilla metric, which is outgoing customers, volume and value of them. And this is what happens inside of organizations who are truly just acquisition-focused and not retention-focused. They don't reconcile the incoming customer quality and quantity with the outgoing customer quantity and quality. The next thing you want to look at is the third guerrilla metrics is your renewals, or the recency and frequency at which the customer base renews or decides to continue to purchase with you. The reason for that is that you need to understand the movement within your segment of customers of the profitability. And all of this is because you want to understand the outcome of the experience that you're giving to your customers. These guerrilla metrics is the outcome of your customers voting with their feet on whether they're going to stay or go. And that's where it gets the oomph back to the CEO and your sales guys and your board about attaching customers to profitability as the asset of the business. The fourth guerrilla metric is referrals. Now, everybody knows that referrals are the holy grail of customer really being an advocate of your company. Now, you not only want to know the referrals, you want to know them by segment of your customer group. And the reason for that is, let's say your most important and most profitable customers, you see a decline of 20% in their referral over a 3-month trending. You need to know that. You need that metric to be as top of mind and hip pocket and asked for in every sales meeting, every quarterly meeting, just like you ask for that top line goal. Because why? Because if you're losing those customers and referring you, then there is something very wrong that's happened in that experience and in that relationship. And then finally, the icing on the cake is the classic, which is profitability and revenue by customer segment. Give your CEO these 5 guerrilla metrics. It'll give them a platform to start rocking the company toward being customer focused.